big step-up game for Semper. Game really hangs in the balance now. Endpoint have shown that they are going to be here to play. And it's against a team who have dominated in the wildcard and really stepped up significantly. Well, Endpoint needed to step up. If we saw the same Endpoint that we saw in LA, the same Endpoint we saw in London, I don't think they'd be on Semper's level this week, but Endpoint have figured out how.
This crowd already getting loud. It's very early on in the day as well, so fair play to them. 5 minutes before we get to find out who will hold the advantage in this series. And it might be Metzer! Hits the crossbar instead. Exotic Catastrophe just finding a way out of this side of the field. Good blocks from him, and that's going to make life very difficult for Latent Wave. Offset. Can't find it. Castillo cuts infield. I think they're starting to realize how dangerous that is. That shot finds the bottom corner. And Exotic finish the last game, starts this one.
Exotic speed is really causing problems. Archie bumps off the play. Exotic beats Metsonoris to the ball. Let's see how Endpoint respond to this pace from Semper. If Exotics can continue this level of display that we're currently seeing, he will be a problem. He has been a problem. He's been the best player for Semper since he joined the team. Anyone who's followed this guy's career knew that it was only a matter of time before Exotic landed himself on a successful roster. Qualifying for RLCS, that's a great read by Relating Wave. All the way back in Season 9, he made it through the promotion relegation tournament before we opened up to the year-long circuit. Now Exotic starting to shine.
Oh, that's off the post, and it's a late shot from Chassette.
Warning signs for Endpoint. Relating Wave takes far too long to get the ball rolling there, and Archie and Metsonoris get in each other's way. Really, Relating Wave's got to do better there. He's got to know that somebody's going to come behind and demo him. He needs to get the ball moving. Has to force...
Olio, no, olio non può essere, è grasso, è caramello, quel colore, non ho capito cos'è, è blu.
Ma che cazzo?
with this, though, 'cause it looked like Castle couldn't really control the ball when it came towards him. It was on the wrong side. Going to be looking at kickoffs under a microscope here today. Oh, what a fake. Metza didn't have too many options here. As he turned around, he was pretty limited with boost and momentum. Oh, it looked like Chaussette was keeping an eye on Archie as well, who was playing it a bit more quickly for that one. Called the mind game. Metza Norris had the same idea, and all ready to get the first goal.
Maybe if we rewind it back a little bit on that play, the bump is what opened it up for Metza, who has the vast majority of the endpoint goals. He has been the offensive focal point. He's been providing in that regard. Archie now, looking to try and make it 2, pops the ball away. Chaussette, only as far as relating waves, sees the option and Cassio missed it! And Archie will clean up.
What an approach from Archie. Takes the boost from the back corner, darts back in. No chance for Semper to react to that kind of pass. It's less telegraphed than some of the other passes both teams are attempting at the end of game number 3. Much more quick as well with the first touch. So I'd love to see more of that from both teams. Quick fire passing, less telegraphed. Like we keep mentioning, physical play from endpoint. Are they going to go for that? I think it's an option that would work well for them. They've got a team who are quite comfortable defending solo, and you've got Relating Wave and Archie on the roster. They don't need to dart back too quickly. Might look for a third. Archie's all alone here in offense.
Archie maybe even outperforming what his own teammates' expectations were. Relating Wave once again in the midfield. It's been him and Relating and Archie that have just been switching. Who's going to be the target man in the midfield and just disrupt Semper when they try and recycle the play as Exotic sees Chaussette. Isn't going to find him, but Castillo even further away becomes the player to take control of it. 3 minutes. So Semper finding themselves quite significantly behind already. Are we going to see a repeat of game number 1? Castillo, good block. Brings it to Chaussette, but it's a bit wasted. Archie would have actually been quite disappointed with the way that he controlled that one.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a gimme. And Semper almost able to recycle possession for a second time. Instead, they've had to go back to their own back corner. Archie, wait. Good challenge. Metza realizes nobody else is around. I might as well just disrupt the play even more.
Yeah, endpoint. They'll be just trying to close out this game without any more defensive mistakes. They don't need to make one here, though. Castillo fires for Semper. And that was all from a great pass from Chaussette. Just lofts it up in the air. Relating Wave can't get there. That's the key for Semper there. So it's not overhitting the pass too much. Keep it close. Don't give endpoint a chance to close the distance. Relating Wave tried, couldn't get there.
I think as well, Johnny, when we were talking about how fundamentally sound Semper have been throughout the last week or so, a lot of people might hear that and think, oh, just strong rotations, send people back, always make sure there's a third man. It's not necessarily been the case, though. Semper have been exceptionally good at understanding when to pull the trigger and send all 3 for it. That last goal being prime example. It's been exceptional at just decision-making, making sure that they know this is the one we're going to score from.
Yeah.
And we can now send the whole house as endpoint putting the pressure back on.
I like to see that they are sticking around just a little bit here to try and cause some chaos before leaving. Chaussette's the only player with boost in the moment. Exotic just goes straight for the ball. That's exactly what Chaussette wanted. One of his teammates has ball pressure, forces a touch. He can use his boost that he's got to follow up on their play. You switch the roles, it's very hard for a zero boost player to follow up on a force 50-50. So good management, good communication by Semper there. Exotic knowing that when he doesn't have boost, he can just stay on the ball, make life for Chaussette as easy as possible.
What a hit that is.
Oh.
Metza again has to control the ball on its way back down to the floor. Castillo piped out mid-air, but it is Exotic that scored the boost. He's the one at the back.
He's going. What a play!
Chaussette back to Castillo!
Oh! Well. I thought that was a bit of a clear pass in field. I'm not sure what Metza thought was going to happen, but drove into no man's land. With the momentum shot. I don't know why endpoint have failed to cover that pass. It was, for me, the only play Semper were ever going to make from that position.
the moment, we're heading towards another overtime, our third in a row. Unless somebody here has just got that spark of magic required. It might be Archie. He's called off it. And Metza had quite the amount of players around him, making sure that he was not going to be able to turn that one on target. Still, Endpoint in a great position to keep the offense on board. Right in wave, challenge in the midfield. Exotic has to rotate back. Well played there from Chaussette. Did not just wander out of place. Realized what his task. Whoa! That hits the crossbar. Castillo doesn't panic. Realized which way it was going to go and then hooked back in to make sure it got into the corner, but Semper are well against it. Archie now up against Castillo. Doesn't want to head it over towards the corner. Realized Castillo would have probably had him covered. Now becomes Metza. Back to Archie. This is what Endpoint have continuously done so well. This is how they get the transition game going. Relating wave is going to drop down, but because of the bump on Metza, no way to finish it.
Well, moments ago, Exotic cuts off an infield pass. Now he bumps the third man who's looking to get up and rebound a winner for Endpoint. Huge defensive plays from an active Exotic, but Endpoint still piling on the pressure.
Exotic, will he accept overtime? They don't want to. Semper put the ball long, and Endpoint forced to concede that they want golden goal. Third time in a row, Semper have won both of them. Can they get the hat trick?
Already Exotic with a chance. Metza stays on him though. Once again, it's been that theme of this game, this low boost ball pressure. Metza just staying on it, not giving Exotic a free touch. Making his goalkeeper all that happier. Really quick the game here. That's a free shot. It's just not going to make it through though. Follow-up is there, but that's also going to be defended by Endpoint.
Relaying wave on the transition. Choose his boost, choose to try and get rid of Exotic, but that second part doesn't quite work out. Good bump as well. Gives Archie a free hit. Chaussette, that's an awkward angle. Brings up. And Castillo with the wherewithal. Now off the backboard one more time. Terminating wave. What a save! Castillo jumps, hopes, makes contact. There they go.
Player with 100 boost at the moment. Castillo's got 0, but he manages to make a key touch. Endpoint know they've got Semper on the ropes. It looks like Semper have survived. The attack fizzles out.
That was Endpoint's golden opportunity. Metza can't afford.
Whoa!
And not for the first time. Metza caught sleeping.
Oh my goodness. Well, Metza didn't have a lot of boost. He thought he could get up quickly enough to deflect. A boost to quickly turn around and cover a long shot. You need to make the touch, and Metza doesn't make contact. A couple of extremely poor plays from the veteran in this game alone. The equalizer was also an infield pass that he must see it. Gave Semper the pretty easy equalizer. We hope we can see it again in the replay here. After such a great start, Endpoint call the timeout. They come back, and then they just let it drop. The first goal, fair enough. Semper worked well for that one. Fantastic pass from Chaussette, but the tying goal and the winning goal, both extremely lackluster defense from Endpoint. Semper 3 overtimes in a row, now 3 match points as well.
And some people at home, Johnny, might be wondering, why are we not having the same criticisms about Castillo? Because there was another infield pass that you might be able to see Castillo was able to essentially jump up for it, but the difference is that Castillo was under pressure. Castillo had to decide, is this going straight to the player, or is he going to try and demo me and they're going to leave for something else?
And it was a quick one as well.
Exactly.
It was a play that could have realistically been a shot. It could have been a backward play.
But as you were saying, for Metza, it was the only play on the board.
It was the only play that made sense, so that's why he's got to see it coming. Likely infield pass. Semper happy to see Metza misread the situation. Continue their overtime streak. They've taken 7 overtimes in a row between wildcard and today. 3 of them in this series alone.
They've got the ice. Have they got the series? Semper put game 1 right behind them, and ever since then have been going from form to form. And Endpoint have been helping them with that a little bit. Relating wave. Sees that there's quite a few down that side of the field, but the difference between relating wave, a lot of players out there is he'll see 2 players in one side. And he'll say, I'll have a bit of that. Leaves himself on those challenges. Nice from Exotic to find a little bit of space. Castillo's block only as far as relating wave. 1-0 Endpoint.
Pressure play from Endpoint. Grabs them in the early goal. Exhausted going at a 50. Couldn't get it. Castillo tried to deflect the ball into the corner. He also fails to do so. Endpoint take another lead. They've had quite a few of them this series. Like, both teams have struggled to hold on to leads that they've gathered for themselves. Just surprising. I mean, I think Endpoint, when they're up by 2, I usually feel pretty comfortable about how they're playing, but today it's been a little bit more ropey. Semper as well. Definitely a high-pressure situation. Once they've made it into overtime, they've been a lot more consistent. It's about regulation-type defending. That's where it's been a bit less easy for Semper to hold on.
Boom and clear by Archie. Those do not have the same effect that they had earlier on. Semper happy to just cover off those angles. Castillo to Exotic. How well communicated is that by Semper? Endpoint trying to give them a little bit of the same. Semper just a step ahead at the moment. Metz would have liked to have seen that pass get over to him. Instead, it's Archie. Wants to go the whole way. Almost did it. Crossbar denied. But Relating Wave has a second.
And Archie does enough. He gets it over the top of the first man, keeps control, and crucially keeps the ball in front of the goal as well. Big time dunk by Archie. Another 2-goal lead for Endpoint. Semper have come back from this scoreline before. Let's see if they can do it again.
For me, this position now is all about Endpoint not making mistakes. They gave up some very silly ones.
Yeah.
In field. Make Semper work for it. Already know that when they get into that stalemate, both teams struggle to score, so why not utilize that for yourself? Castillo called off by Exotic. Archie and Exotic has been just truly fascinating. Oh my goodness, an Exotic! Just loitered, threatened the demo, and parks the car, ready and waiting for the pass.
Yeah, look at this. Exotic boost steal, bumps Metz away, and then he's also there to slot in the center ball. But that's been a great little team play from Semper. The timing. Exotic.
Ja, mein Gott.
But in every sense, he's been that guy for Semper.
One-to-one replacement. That wasn't quite working. Responsibility to Castillo and Chaussette. And here you go. This is the results for it. A team that nobody was rating going into the wild card. Fully in control of the series, but not in control of this game.
Yeah, not in control of their boost in the back corner there. They've failed a couple of times to just generate time. Get that 50-50 to stall long enough to get someone on the ball and somebody backing them up. Something that Semper have done very well all the way through this tournament. As soon as Endpoint lose control of the ball, so he's taking his time here. At least for the back corner boost, gets taken out of the game. I think this is the first time we've seen Endpoint respond after their lead starts to crumble. Here they go again, and Metz will slot a top corner redirect. It looked like the keeper got a touch. It wasn't enough.
It's a brand new look to Metz. That's so good. Forced the goalkeeper to just respect the possibility that Metz could have found top corner, and I do not blame them for that one. This story squeezing past, but 4-1. Endpoint have answered. Are they walking towards their second game win? Or if Semper got something left in the back pocket, Chaussette. Nice turn. The angle. Is this game now gone for Semper? They need to score very soon if they're going to make anything of this. But Endpoint, when they have these sorts of leads, do tend to just extend them. Come back down, Relating Wave. Causes a little bit of trouble there for Exotic. Metzer back in. There is a confidence in Metzer that I have not seen in years.
Yeah, he's back. He started off the series very well. I think he had a bit of a blip in the middle, but looks to be back in game 5. Not a moment too late. Semper still piling forward. Got options far side. Lane Wave's got it covered. It looks like Endpoint will get over the finish line in game 5. Semper not scored enough for their chance.
Hold on.
And we've got time left. That had to go in. This was their really getting to their last chance territory. If they can get a volatile... Everybody's spawning in the middle. Super. Do you just play a standard as a close cheat though? You can see...
Oh, Archie!
A huge blunder in defense. Archie ball. And Semper are back with it.
Flip at the worst possible time. 22 seconds left. Semper about to full send. Castillo misses it, but it does now bring in their third man. Archie gets bumped out of the way as well. Now up to Exotic, low boost. Wave at the back. How's he going to play a slow or boom? Chooses the boom towards us. And they do it. Chaussette up the wall. Exotic sees a couple of players around. Playing with a handicap if they just have to give away like 1 or 2 goals every single up on themselves.
I just can't believe. I can tell you why Semper did it. They're trailing by 2. They need to take that risk. They tried a dead ball kickoff or a big win, and the close cheat combined. Quickly pounced on the ball and slowly shot on target. Now, Endpoint should have been fine. Archie did turn back towards the net and he would have had the save if he didn't panic flip, but the fact that he's even just got to make a save solo did worry me. Because it didn't have to be a slow shot. There's plenty other variations of this that come more quickly towards the goal. Close cheat is a risky strategy. Endpoint nearly got punished for opting for it there. They just hung on long enough to send us into game 6.
How confident are you in this one going to 7? I'm confident we're going to see at least 4 goals.
I'll be honest, I'm not. I wish I could say I am, but Endpoint have looked so inconsistent today. They've had their big moments. I think at times they've looked like they're just really putting it together and starting to connect in a way that we've not really seen from them in LAN. But they've had big defensive mistakes in quite a few games in a row now. Semper, for me, have been the more consistent team. They've won every single overtime. They can just make it to another one. I'm not betting against them.
Well, let's see if a Champions Field will go next. 5 minutes to find out which one it's going to be. Pass from Relating Wave. Can he find the angle? Oh! Relating Wave!
Huge play from Wave. He was right there. As soon as Metzdenoris popped the ball up in the air. But finished it off in style. It's not like that first touch was easy to catch up on. Now here he goes again. 1v1 with Chaussette, who's got his number.
And it's the play that just adds to the frustration if you're an Endpoint fan, because you see stuff like that, and you see how they've been conceding, and you realize that they have the makeup there of a world-class team. Now they have to keep this up. Metzer can't find the block. Castillo doesn't want any of Relating Wave in the mid-air challenge. Takes it around him. Archie, not with a setup to anybody. Endpoint holding back for now. It's been a fascinating matchup in the midfield. Here we go! Oh. Castillo! If you want the ball to fall to anybody, it's that guy!
Well, Metzdenoris didn't get the ball past Exotic, but you've got to get someone else into the middle there. I mean, what are Endpoint doing with 2 defenders that close to the ball and no one is jumping in front of the shot? That's just poor defense from Endpoint once again. They're in a world of trouble. Exotic's faking, and he's scoring immediately off the kickoff. Endpoint have been good enough in defense. I mean in offense. Their defense, though, has just not been up to the task. What a play from Exotic, who's been the man of the match so far.
And to start this game off and to end the last one, it is the kickoffs that have really started to target. Would have been able to add another one, but Endpoint's high-flying start completely evaporated. They've now got to try and climb back into this. Relating Wave delayed his attempted challenge, but Casper is still able to avoid. Archie to Relating Wave. Wants to go the entire way. He's got a little bit of support. Pops off the backboard. It's going to be up to Archie. Doesn't find the shot on target. There was a hive mind of orange cars flailing everywhere. Couldn't quite guide it past them. That is so cheeky by Chaussette. What a goal it would have been. Instead, we stay at 2-1.
Endpoint definitely had a good opportunity there. Her. Likewise. The tricks are coming out at the tail end of the series. Don't have any doubt in Endpoint's ability to create realistic opportunities on net. I'm more worried about this goals that they're conceding. They're coming in rapidly, just a bit too easily, especially at the tail end of games for my liking. This is the moment that Endpoint have to figure out a way to continue this offensive pressure without defensive mistakes, and they've done it. Relating Wave underneath Chaussette for 2-2.
If there's anyone that is stepping up, it is Relating Wave. Sets up the first, puts in the second. And it has been the bread and butter for Endpoint throughout the entirety of this series. Put the ball into midfield and then use the passing player to put pressure on the goalkeeper. 2 each. Champions Field still beckons, but it is up to Endpoint to find the consistency. As Exotic up against Archie. What a challenge that is from an Archie that was on low boost. Might even keep this going. Be that talisman for Endpoint in this game. He's dragged them back into it. Now they need one more. But for Semper, I really don't think you change anything, because could just capitulate. We've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, Endpoint have had defensive mistakes in every game that we've seen since game one. So Semper are just going to continue grinding out goals, grinding out this midfield battle, and they're quite happy to go to OT, undefeated in this series, undefeated in this tournament. Once games go to overtime, they wait patiently. Just let the clock tick down, hope for another Endpoint mistake.
Fort Worth 1-7. Relating Wave 1-7. It's not going to get it off that setup. But Semper have not been able to utilize the midfield challenges. They don't have the boost to even go over that way. Off the backboard. Yeah, it just keeps it.
My power up would be damage, 100%, and I won. Second verse. How many are?
now, Endpoint have closed out 2 games, and that second one pretty comfortably. So, is it time for Semper to just send it? Just try and play a more aggressive strategy instead of sitting back, letting Endpoint come at them. We might see a more aggressive 7 before. They took down Space Station in this exact same setting, so they're not going to be uncomfortable. And coming off a timeout, statistically, is massively favorable. Didn't work out for Endpoint earlier on today, but it tends to most of the time in these high-pressure situations.
Me and you, Johnny, we talk an awful lot, and I've told you very often about how I don't like it when teams necessarily change their playstyle when the options
Hello, do you guys hear
when the
me?
stakes
Hello?
get a lot higher. But this is the rare occasion where I kind of want to make an exception.
You hear me?
Because, as you mentioned, Endpoint are not making those mistakes anymore. The original idea was just to watch Endpoint fizzle out and put themselves in the lower bracket. That is now gone. It is time to go to Champions Field and not come out of this game feeling like you didn't try and leave everything on the board.
I think Endpoint will be happy that they've made it this far. They've had horrendous matchups, 11 game losses in a row before this series. The fact that they've made it all the way to game 7 against a Semper who are in form, who are coming hot out of the wildcard, undefeated. This is already, I'd say, a pretty good result for Endpoint, but they're not going to be satisfied without that win. They want to prove that that 3rd seed for EU is deserved. They come in here as an auto-qualified team, and they want to advance into the top 12. Every win in the group stage gets you more money, it gets you farther in the tournament, and it gives you a chance of making it just a little bit closer to the playoffs on the very last day, where it all culminates in the arena.
Our first match, our first Game 7, our first time to Champions Field. Let's see who is going through in the upper bracket. It's up to Jose. I'm flying start now. Wave. He sent them to this game. They couldn't keep it out for long enough, though. Cassio, top bins.
Well, that's heroics from Relating Wave, who read the infield pass to send Endpoint into this Game 7. But Metsonoris couldn't recover quickly enough to follow up. He needed to be there. He needed to block that follow-up shot. Archie hasn't rotated back yet. Cassio beats into it. Already Semper have got that lead. I mean, just keep on. It keeps on happening. As soon as the timeout is called, it's an immediate buff to whoever takes it.
And typically it was Endpoint that became synonymous with the timeout buff. This time around it's for Semper. Only halfway into our opening minute. Relating Wave doesn't want to go for it, but that boost doesn't spawn for him either. So can't quite steal it. Here's your goal scorer, Cassio, ends up leaving it for Josette. I love that Semper just leave the options open. Endpoint have had to hit so deep when they want to try and hold on to the midfield because Semper has got so many choices. Pass it to the wall, take it in the air dribble it, or just drop it down to whoever's on the goal line. Semper will need more of that because Endpoint are going to throw everything that they have got. Exotic, asking an awful lot of himself, but hey, got the confidence. And on his day, he definitely nails those sorts of shots. Now called in to perform some defensive duty. Josette with a transition. Steals 100 boost in that midfield as well, so we can stick on with this. That's over to Cassio. And Exotic, yeah, this is going back corner. Buy some time, get everyone back in.
Archie's still reeling from a missed corner boost, though. Still looking for pads anywhere. He can't get it, and now the 100 gets stolen right in front of him. Just a small mistake, but it leads to so much pressure. And further down the line, it is Semper who scored. We saw Archie miss a back left boost a while ago. And then he drove around the pitch looking for anything. Couldn't find it. That small mistake. It's a part of this goal. It's not the only thing that led to this goal. But little things like that eventually they can come back to bite you.
Well, anybody that's ever tried to analyze games at this level knows that most of these goals start 15 seconds. You always find something that is the catalyst.
Oh my.
And that definitely was the catalyst. Oh, Endpoint. That was your series right there. They'll be happy that at least it was too high up. Almost half the game gone already. They find themselves 2 goals down. It might get even worse. Cassio off the backboard. Archie, good read. Josette straight on for the challenge from Archie. Relating Wave, he had a brilliant Game 6. He needs more of that in Game 7. But they're not finding anything. 3-0! Hat-trick hero for Cassio. This was crisis. They lost Archie. They had to find a way to save their season. Save their season they did. Cassio, 5 goals to his name. Semper are through.
We're going to see them in a couple days' time in that upper round 2 match.